All right, also today, people are sharing their feelings about the penalty phase mistrial for Jodi Arias. You're all talking about this person tweeting, "Did anyone else not sleep last night? Just could not wrap my mind around what happened. So unfair and unsettling." And Missy writing, "I'm so not a fan of juror number 17, but I've seen actual threats towards her." Tweeted, "That is too far."
Oh my gosh, yes. Juror 17 was the only person who was not in favor of the death penalty, which led to this mistrial. And not a fan of juror 17 is juror number 4, who spoke to Nancy Grace last night. Listen to this.
We don't put forth the right judgment if we're not all in agreement. There's a chance that she could get out in her early 50s. I mean, that's like a whole life to live after that. So what punishment is it really? It was painful in that courtroom, just listening to the family wail and cry while we had to sit there as a group, even though we were mostly in favor of capital punishment, to sit there and have it represented that we as a group were hung and Jodi was going to not get away with it.
Jodi Arias did get away with one thing, and that is her life. As Jeffrey Toobin tells Nancy Grace, execution is not the only form of justice. Let's take a listen.
You know what? Executing people is not the only form of justice in this country. In fact, it is a largely discredited form of justice in this country, Nancy. And a lot of people on the left, on the right, the death penalty is in great decline in this country because so many innocent people have been on death row, because so many inappropriate sentences have been reached. So the idea that there is injustice because Jodi Arias is not going to be stuffed into a gas chamber or put in a lethal injection is not necessarily the case, and it indicates no insensitivity to the victims who have suffered horribly in this case, that she will not be executed.
Nancy, you want to respond?
Is that a question? I mean, I don't even know what that was. I'm happy to hear your opinion. But what I'm saying is today there's a hung jury.
So Jean Casares is joining us now. Jean, April 13th, we know, is sentencing day. Getting away from that conversation for a moment, let's get to the latest. What are the judge's options here?
The judge has two options. It's, first of all, going to be life in prison for Jodi Arias. So is it life in prison for the rest of her natural life, or will the judge decide she can be released after 25 years? And she would be, I think, near the end of her 50s, just as the juror said last night on Nancy's show. The one concern here, the juror last night said that in the deliberation room they had discussed the fact about her punishment. That's not something they're supposed to discuss, take into consideration, or look at all in the deliberation room, because their focus is on the evidence and whether she should have received death.
Gene, a lot of questions about juror number 17, and we didn't have a lot of answers to those questions. Yesterday, the jury talked about going to Judge Stevens, saying there may be a bias with juror 17. Do we have any more answers today about that juror?
I think it's a moot issue. I think that it was a hung jury, a mistrial was declared, and we move forward. So I don't think we have any more issues. But we can listen to more of what he says, maybe a little beneath the surface. One thing that sparked my interest was this juror said that she had watched the movie of Jodi Arias. Okay, fine. I mean, that can get you past jury selection, because did you watch the movie? Yes, I did. Do you have an opinion? No, I don't. Can you set that movie aside and look at the evidence? Yes, I can. But in the deliberation room, the jury that spoke yesterday said, she said, after I saw the movie, I thought I was going to see a monster. That's an opinion right there. She formed an opinion on that movie, and she said once she saw Jodi in the courtroom, she wasn't a monster. Did she say all that in jury selection? I don't think so.
But this is my concern, and I mean this genuinely. There could be security issues for her, right? And what are the responsibilities of the court, if are there any, if there are some threats made against her because of this?
There may not be any responsibilities by the court now. She's been dismissed. So, but no one knows her name. I mean, maybe you've seen her name in social media. I have not. But, yeah, she may have a security concern and an issue. You know, there were jurors in the Casey Anthony case that lost their jobs, that had to move out of the state of Florida, that forevermore had their lives changed.
And the problem is, this is our, our responsibility as Americans is to serve this time, to serve that time as a juror. So I mean, thank you, Jean, so much. We appreciate it. But yeah, I mean, I have seen things on social media saying, I know her name, I know where she lives. Don't do that to her. Just don't do that to her. That's not right.
It's important that we protect the people that are involved in our justice system, no matter what.
Whether you agree with them or not.
Exactly.